and you get some of my hot takes. So I like to play this fun game, and it's called "How long can we go before we buy more groceries?" And we're setting a new record. Last night for dinner, what we did is we steamed some rice because I recently learned how to steam rice. It was pretty great. It's pretty great. As I got done steaming the rice, I added sugar and some leftover almond milk, and I turned it into like a cereal of some sort. And so we're doing great. We're doing real well. I might be losing it. So anyway, that's your early show update. Thanks for coming, everyone. Let's talk a little bit about the guests that we have on the show this evening. We've got three wonderful guests. We have Arab Princess AP. She goes by AP. Kind of like that watch situation, right? This is not an AP. Maybe we have one. Maybe we have one with someone else. We also got Black Engineer, who's going to be on, as well as ABCDEFG. So we've got a great lineup of people coming. It's wonderful. So you got to stick around and see the conversations with all of them. Each of them have either been a VIP, a top badge aspirant. That's a word, right? I think ABCDEFG guest. Yeah, I like it. Very good. Arab Princess, AP, if you'd like to request the box, I'd appreciate it. Now, before we jump in these conversations, everyone, just know that while there's comments rolling through, that there's gifts happening, that type of thing, I'm not going to be acknowledging them. And that's because sometimes we talk about very serious topics. Not really. It's mostly out of respect to the conversations we're having. Because what if they pull out their rare Charizard card and I totally get distracted by the dragon rolling across the screen? That'd be rude. When someone shows you their Charizard, you pay it respects, okay? Those are the rules. I didn't make up the rules. That's how we do it around here. So welcome to the first guest to our box this evening. She goes by AP, and she's requesting the box. AP, if you'd like to request the box, please, Miss Arab Princess, you're coming on. And make sure to stay tuned, everyone, because if you have some favorites like Black Engineer, like ABCDEFG, they're going to be on the show. And I'll tell you, our third guest this evening, we had to have a conversation because she was worried that she wasn't going to come with the information. I was like, don't worry. We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to learn a whole lot about you. And she's like, I don't know, Chris. I don't do too many things. I'm like, no, you totally got this. All right, so welcoming to the box, everyone, our first guest this evening. She goes by AP, Miss Arab Princess. How we doing, AP? Welcome to the show.
Hello, Chris Casper.
It's nice to see you,
everyone.
So on my notes, I was paying attention to some of the things that we had written down, and it said that you like to cook.
I love to cook.
Were you here? Did you catch the recipe that I said I had for dinner last night?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. What was the recipe?
It's very early in the show. We talked about it. It was some rice that we steamed because we recently got a steamer. I learned how to do that. Very proud. I know. 30 next week. And then we had some sugar and some almond milk. It's kind of like a cereal.
Sugar and almond milk. What are you?
It's what we had. I felt like almond milk was better than mayonnaise.
Oh, no, I definitely don't. I dislike mayonnaise very much. I'm not a fan of mayonnaise at all.
You don't like mayo with your rice?
Not one bit. But yeah, I definitely know how to cook. I have a couple posts on my IG of all my cooking and all that stuff. I basically cook like Middle Eastern food. Middle Eastern food is like one of my go-tos. You know, I can make the desserts. I can make it all.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was the segue. Is I'm not a cook. You are a cook, and
yes.
You had some experience. Are you someone who learned traditionally, or was it in the family, or one day were you watching Food Network? Like, I need to learn how to do that.
To be honest with you, like I was raised like to be like wifey material, you know. So like my mom has always taught me how to cook. She's always taught me how to do everything. I've learned ever since I was like 13 years old on how to cook. I was 13 years old making a full course meal like for my whole family. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like my mom, she doesn't really like cook in the house, or my dad. I'm the one who does like all the cooking in the house every day.
Would you describe it as more of your family, or is it model some sort of tradition? Can you shed a little light on that?
Yeah, it's definitely traditional, you know, being as a Arab woman, it's very traditional for a woman to know how to cook, you know. It's very traditional, you know. Yeah, it's very traditional, I would say.
Got it. Understood. Understood. So that's what you have your name titled as, is Arab Princess
Yeah.
AP. Are you originally from the United States, or is your family from the States?
So I was born in Iraq. My whole family was born in Iraq. I was raised in Iraq, you know, from Baghdad, or as for some say, Iraq, Baghdad, you know. And I moved to Syria when I was like around 7 years old. I also lived in Syria for a couple of years.
Mhm.
That's how I ended up knowing so many languages too. Like I know 4 languages because I and
Spoiler alert. That's a spoiler alert. I gotta draw this content out. Okay, so hang on. That's a different part. So
so
you
we'll
lived
get
in
into that.
Syria,
We'll get into that
Iraq.
later. But yeah, so I went from Iraq to Syria, from Syria to Turkey, from Turkey to the States, California.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Mhm.
And I'm going to just make a wild guess here. Was the reason you were traveling so much is were you looking for a safe place to be, or what was a place for your family to post up? What was the situation that you're having to travel so often?
To be honest with you, we wanted to come to the States legally. That was our goal, to come to the States legally, and it took about 5 years for our immigration papers to go through. And at the time when I still lived in Iraq, it was a lot of bad stuff going on. Like it was a lot of killings happening every day. It was a lot of, you know, tough stuff going on in Iraq. So we moved to Syria, you know, since our immigration papers took so long. So we moved to Syria, and then other stuff happened in Syria. So then we moved to Turkey. And then when I was in Turkey, my dad was still in Iraq, you know, selling all his property, selling all that stuff. My dad was a very powerful man in Iraq. He had a oil recycling company.
Wow.
Yeah, he had it really going on for himself. And it's crazy because when you come to the States, all your permits, all your licenses, you know, all the education that you received from Iraq, like it can't be used in the States because it's written in a different language. So you got to take all of it all over again.
How old were you when you moved to Syria?
I was 7 years old.
You were 7 years old.
I was seven.
And what age were you when you moved to the States?
I would say I was 8 years old when I moved to the States.
So
I skipped kindergarten, I skipped first grade, I skipped second grade, third grade. I was in third grade knowing no English at all. I had no friends at all. It was so hard for me. It was such a different change. It was kind of crazy. You know,
mhm.
it was really crazy. Like it was very wild.
Everyone, if you're just tuning in, welcome to Suit It Up. This is our first guest, Arab Princess, Miss AP. She's letting us know about the transition, immigrating to the United States, not knowing any English. Make sure you stick around because we still have two other fantastic guests. Do you remember what that was like? I remember elementary school, and I could speak English, and I was still afraid. I can only imagine for you, what was that experience like?
I'm not gonna lie. It was very tough living in Iraq. You know, I was in an all girls school. You know, it wasn't like how it is in the States where it's like boys and girls in elementary school. It was an all girls school, and it was just so different coming to the States and seeing like boys in my school, because when I was in Iraq, if we seen one boy in our school, we would scream at the top of our lungs. Like no boys were allowed in our school.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. And four languages. Earlier you said that that's how you picked up a lot of languages. What are
Yeah.
the four languages that you speak?
So I speak Arabic, I speak Assyrian, I speak Chaldean, and I speak English.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you consistently use those languages still? Do you stay pretty polished on it?
So every day, like in my home, like we speak all 3 languages at once. So like we'll mix in some English. You know, like how in a Hispanic home you would speak Spanish and English at the
Yeah.
same time sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me it's like I speak 3 languages at the same time in my house. We'll mix in some Arabic, some English, and some Chaldean.
I was gonna say, growing up at my grandparents' home on my dad's side, I remember my grandparents sometimes when they would get angry, it turn into Spanglish, and it'd be a mixture of English and Spanish at the same time. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
you know, it's serious now. It's going down. So yeah, when the languages start to get mixed up, you know it's getting serious.
definitely. Yeah.
So you're doing your business, you know, with the school thing, like every kid does. You grow up. What would you say overall your school experience was like? Do you feel like you were able to acclimate to Western culture, or do you feel that you had brought over a lot of the tradition and experiences that you had while you were?
To be honest, to this day, like my friends will tell me like about certain movies and certain shows, and I'm just like, I've never heard of them, and they're just like, they think I'm crazy. Like they usually think I'm crazy because they're like, how can you not watch this movie or this show? I'm like probably I wasn't even in the States when that movie came out, you know. Like I used to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning just to watch Tom and Jerry.
That's the old one.
Every morning, yo, I used to wake up 6 in the morning just to watch Tom and Jerry. I didn't watch no Disney movies till I came to the States.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And well, I'd say either way, you turned out as a fantastic person. A lot of people would agree with that because you've done very well on the platform. Let's go into some of that. During your streams, I know you're known to be a little bit of a makeup guru, a little bit of a fashion expert. Was that something that developed over your streaming, or was that something that you brought to your streams?
That's definitely something I've brought into my streams. Like, I'm known for doing my makeup super quick. Like, I can do a full face of glam in under than 7 minutes. Yeah.
Were you practicing that as a kid too?
Honestly, I didn't start getting into makeup until I was a sophomore or a freshman in high school. In middle school, my mom wouldn't let me wear makeup for cultural stuff, you know. She just thought I was too, you know, little to be rocking makeup in middle school. But as soon as I was a freshman in high school, I was doing makeup for all the senior girls in prom, you know, all that stuff.
Could have been a budding entrepreneur. Who knows? Start your own business there. Let us know a little bit more about your streams then. How long have you been doing it? What do you like about it?
So I started on the app, I would say around like I've been on the app for around like 2 years, like almost 2 years. I'm about to hit the 2-year mark. It's been great on the app, to be honest. I've met so many incredible people. It's actually so insane. Like I never knew that I could grow so much connections from an app. Like it's really crazy. You know, a lot of amazing people on this app. And the best part about being a streamer is you can motivate other viewers to become streamers too. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my top gifters, Sal Diddy, like he started coming to my streams, and I motivated him to start streaming, and look at him now, he's like at 20 mil, and I feel happy. Like I'm happy that I motivated you to start streaming. Like I've motivated a lot of people to start streaming. It's amazing, honestly.
What do you think it is about you, or what is it that you've done that's motivating people, that's getting that reaction to have people get out of their comfort zone?
Because honestly, when I first joined the app, I didn't think I was gonna be where I'm at today. Like not once did I think that I would get on just to like talk to people when I was bored. Like my streams were very inconsistent. Like I never took it seriously. But then like 2 months later of like consistently streaming, things started to change. I was like, wait, hold on. Like it was really crazy because I went from 5 million to 20 million in like 4 months.
Sounds like an infomercial then. You're like, if I can do it, you can do it too. 20 million diamonds could be yours.
Do it too. Do it like Nike side.
Infomercial AP, perfect. And then if you order now, you decide of, I don't know, what's the bedazzle powder, makeup, whatever you do. Well, cool. That's awesome. You've had such a success and that you've helped other people to do well. Do you have other plans then? I know Top Badge is something that has been in my inbox, or at least I'm seeing with these notes over here. So top badge is on your mind at least. Why is it something that you're interested
Top badge is definitely on my mind. You know, I wouldn't mind at all becoming a top badge. I think it would be an incredible experience. I think I have what it takes to be a top badge.
Like, I wouldn't mind it. If it happened to be there, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, I would not mind it one single bit. I wouldn't mind it at all, because I feel like I'm already, like, my weeklies already are so good. I feel like, you know, I consume so much of my days to get on stream and talk to my real ones. You know, all the people that are so consistent in my streams.
Has any of that been difficult for you, to be so consistent, and you meet a lot of people doing this? Do you feel like you've had some ups and downs with it?
I feel like I have had ups and downs on the app, but nothing that's too serious. And I think that's on my part, you know. As a streamer, you can't let people, you know, get to you. You know, like I always say, haters are my motivators.
Haters are my motivators. Well, any other advice for people who want to stay out of the drama, walk through this crispy clean? How would you recommend they get through it?
I feel like drama is always going to be around if you're a streamer, especially when you're doing good as a streamer. It's always going to be around, but you just have to learn how to control the drama. You have to learn how to approach the drama. You have to, you know, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of screen recordings people be doing. People are just really messy sometimes on this app.
I see. Yeah. Well, you're keeping your head above water, and we're going to hope that you keep doing that. During these last parts of the conversation, I always like to pass it to the guest, that if there's anything important to you, things that you'd like to highlight, shed light on, the floor is yours to talk about it.
Honestly, I don't know if I have anything else to say, but yeah, I basically do a lot of my streams are a lot about my makeup, about you know, a lot of stuff. I used to do a lot of cooking streams too. I don't know why I kind of stopped doing it. I should get back into that again. I used to cook a lot on my stream. Like, I would be like hours on my stream just cooking and preparing and all that stuff. Wow. But yeah.
Maybe you can improve my rice and almond milk recipe. Or better yet, I'll teach you. I'll teach you how to make rice and almond milk. Sure. So that way you can enjoy some of that.
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of, I can make all different types of rice. I know how to make yellow rice, brown rice, red rice, like all of the above.
I just need it to help me live. And if we can get that far, then we're good. We still have a little bit of time left. Something that's especially interesting is that you've highlighted a few times that your culture is very important to you. Is there anything about it that you think is relatively unknown, or is not one of the, I guess, the first things that come to mind that you'd like to celebrate or point out that you enjoy about your culture or is tradition for you?
To be honest with you, since I am Arab, people automatically assume I'm Muslim, but that's not the case. I was actually raised in a Catholic home. So when people come in my stream and like they tell me like, are you Muslim? Like, they automatically assume I'm Muslim, and that's not the case. Like, there is so many Arabs that are Catholic and Christians, and you know, just like every other race, you know, there's Catholics, Christians, you know, all of the above. But I think that's one thing that always catches people off guard, is they automatically, or like they come in my stream, they ask me why I'm not wearing a hijab, like stuff like that, you know. And a lot of stuff comes to, like, it's just ignorance comments. Like, people don't know, they just automatically assume, you know. And not every culture or race is like exactly how you know, the same thing, you know.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, ignorance is the lack of understanding something, the lack of knowing something. And it's definitely going to be about approach, tactfulness in that, because if someone doesn't understand something and they're seeking that knowledge, at least for some of the things that I've been going through in my life, I hope that person's there to be able to help explain and guide that person in the right direction, so that they can be better equipped going forward in other situations they may experience or encounter. So I'm guessing that you're someone who helps in those situations, and that's great.
Yeah, I definitely try to, you know, let people know how it really is, for a person who is very cultured and is from a whole different location, like a whole different place. Like, yeah, it's crazy. It really is.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot more we could learn. But in the meantime, everyone, make sure you hit the favorite button on AP, Arab Princess. She's been our first guest this evening. Thank you so much for talking with us. Looking forward to the next time.
I just want to give a shout out to Adri, Lemon, Babe, Queen V, Eddie,
We have them on the show recently.
Real ones, Gemini, Port Wi-Fi, Jars. Thank you so much, Chris Casper, for having me on your show. I appreciate you.
Thank you for being here. It was a great conversation.
It was a great conversation. Thank you so much.
All right. That's AP right there. Make sure you hit the favorite button on her. We'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Here we go. Hey everyone, my name's Chris. Welcome to Suited Up. This is a comb over. We're trying a different look today. And if you haven't been here before, this is an interview style show that we do each and every week where we bring on up and comers, whether they're on or off of the platform. And who knows, maybe someone that you see during the show, they may end up being one of your new favorite people or one of your new favorite streamers. So you got to stick around to find out what they're about. We've already got done talking with AP, and we still have A, B, C, D, E, F, G coming up. Not before we talk with Mr. Black Engineer. Black Engineer is a dynamic fellow. There's a lot of things to him, and I'm really excited to get to know him more during our conversation because I'm sure many of you know him for his exclusive gift that he drops and all of the generosity that he's shown the people on the platform, whether it's been through mentorship. But today we're going to find out a bit more who he is behind the screen and who he's been in his life. So ladies and gentlemen, again, if this is your first time here and you're wondering why is this guy not acknowledging the gifts that he gets, it's because during these conversations, we like to show respect and thank the people that have been here. So quickly, let's go over the top 3 gifters of the stream so far this evening. We have Valerie, Babyface Mostly, and Miss Queen V, who we just talked with the other day. So thank you very much, Queen V, Babyface, and Val, so much for being here. Here comes our next guest. He is the one and only Black VIP, Black Badge, Mr. Black Engineer coming to the box. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Suited up. Thought I'd bring out the old suit.
It looks great, man. I like the tie. It looks nice.
Yeah, we'll tie it up.
You're a businessman, though, so I assume you got a tie or two laying around that you could you throw on.
I got a few here and there.
Yeah. Well, you're more than just a businessman. You are an entrepreneur. Is that right?
I am an entrepreneur. Yes, definitely own a few things. I'm into real estate, stocks, investments, and different types of ventures and stuff. And I'm actually, little spoiler alert, I'm trying to open up a franchise this year. So just
wow. We'll have to tap into all of that. Let's get things in chronological order, though. What was your first entrepreneurial endeavor? Where did you start off when it comes to entrepreneurship?
I actually, when I first started my career as an engineer, and then one of the things I didn't like is that I felt like I was working to pay bills, and every time I was working, I was like, I wasn't keeping anything, and making all this money for my boss. I'm like, well, I'd like to make what he makes, and so I was able to get into a few entrepreneurs, a few mentors, went to a Black Enterprise curriculum and kind of learn what they started to do. And one of the first things I started getting into was real estate as well, and met some people to how to get a property. One of my first properties that I got that I lived in, it was a duplex, and I said, this is great. I live on one side and I get somebody else to pay my rent. So that's how I got started, and I started getting a fever that I just tried anything to put some money in my pocket and stuff. So
the hustle was born. I love it. I love it. And quickly, can we clarify engineer? So there's many types of engineers. What type of engineer are you?
Well, the first one, I am a Black engineer. I just had to say that.
What's your name?
That punchline. No, I am an electrical engineer, and so I specialize in what's called wind turbines and a lot of clean energy. So if you see things related with clean energy, wind turbines that they produce power, that's what I'm doing. We're actually, a little spoiler alert though, we're working on a major project that's actually out of the East Coast, where we're actually gonna place wind turbines on the ocean, and it's gonna be connected to the city and then serve along the East Coast. So that's something that's never been done in the US before, pioneering. So
Wow.
this I'm pretty excited to be over that project though. So I'm an electrical engineer with clean energy. Now you guys
When
know. I'm also a black engineer too.
well, I think each part's important. But as far as the wind turbines go, something that's kind of I don't know how many people realize this, how large wind turbines are. Can
Yes.
you describe or explain to people just how Goliath wind turbines are?
I'm glad you say that. So it's like if you remember the Eiffel Tower, as tall as the Eiffel Tower, thousands and thousands of feet high. So imagine we're gonna have about 70 or hundreds of those things along the ocean. So they're very, very tall, massive, and they're huge. So imagine just as high as the Eiffel Tower. And so we're gonna have them, like I said, sitting in the ocean and have cables connected under the ocean, and it's gonna connect to the city. And that's how we're gonna serve clean power to the city. So a lot of places, because those things are so huge, you can't put them like in the middle of the East Coast, in the middle of the city, but you can put them in the ocean. So it's very exciting.
They're gigantic. They're gigantic. Uh, about how large of an area can we power off of clean energy like that? One of the arguments we hear about clean energy is that it can't power a lot of things. Do you feel that this will be able to be a step in the right direction?
It's can. In fact, a lot of things right now where things are it's become a lot of things is clean energy right now too. Whether it's just also from if you think about batteries and stuff like that and Tesla motor vehicles. So everything is going clean energy. But the towers that we're building and the projects that we're building, we're actually going to be serving 2 million people. And those projects will be coming in within the next 7 years. So pretty major. So that's something to look out for. When you hear about these projects, you're like, oh, that's the guy Black Engineers project. That's it. So they can serve a lot of people.
And is that your company that you're a part of? Are you joining with others? When you say I'm an entrepreneur, I didn't know if you had started this business.
Okay, so that's a good question. So I do work full time. So I'm an executive with my company, an executive engineer with the company. I don't want to see what it is here, but then at the side also, I also have my do other things as well to entrepreneurship things because you should have multiple streams of income. And when we get to that question, that's actually one of the things that's appealed to me too, is that not just for your job. So I have the job with my company, what it does, large company, and go read about it, guys, and you'll figure out which one it is. And then I've got my entrepreneurship stuff to do some things on the side as well too, in addition to income. Multiple
I
streams
don't know.
is always good
I don't
too.
know if you want people finding out where you work, man. I'm just gonna throw it out
It's
there.
totally okay. It's totally okay. It's surprisingly they actually encourage us to talk about it because it's good publicity to bring about it. So they actually it's actually okay to talk about it though. So
All right, if you say so, I'll go wherever you lean, wherever you lean. So you obviously a very hardworking person. I'm sure we'll end up revisiting that part of the conversation. But I know when it comes to taking it easy, you have some talents and ways that you relax. One of them, you're a musician, which
I am a musician. Yeah. So a little fun fact, guys. I love playing the saxophone. I had played jazz band when I was in high school and stuff. I was in the marching band, so I do love playing the saxophone and stuff. And I think like maybe who knows, I may surprise people this year and bring out the old saxophone. So I do love playing the alto saxophone and jazz and relaxing here.
yeah, jazz music, it influences many genres. In fact, a lot of metal music is based off of jazz progressions. It's pretty cool. So who knows? Your music that you're playing, it may apply to other styles if you ever want to experiment a little bit. Outside of that, though, you spend time streaming in your free time. How'd you end up getting hooked on this?
I do. So I actually started basically as a gifter. And, when everybody was working from home, and at that time, mostly they were letting me work from home. And then I just trying to like, okay, let me see what's going on here. And then somebody had connected me with it. And I started as a gifter. And then I started meeting people and networking and just, oh, okay, there's some cool people here. This is not what I thought. And then from there on, they could say, why don't you start streaming? And I really wasn't into the streaming thing. But like you said, the entrepreneurship. So then I said, well, what could I talk about? And one of the talents I love to talk about here, if you read my bio, I love to talk about stocks, investments, entrepreneurship, anything financial improvement to kind of help people here. So that's how it led into that. This actually June will be my second year here. So I enjoy it as a good when I have, well, apart from working and being a full-time dad Okay, two. Actually, let me take that back. So I'm raising 4 kids. I got an 8-year-old in a body. I have a 21-year-old in the body of an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old in the body of an 18-year-old. So
Okay, so your hands are definitely full.
my hands are.
Uh, between working full time, streaming, and that, yeah, it's I can't imagine that you have any free time to balance around. But here you are on here doing this type of thing. So financial advice is something that we stray away from, at least around here, just out of the liability. But I am curious or interested, what are some of the sectors, you already mentioned real estate, that you are interested in, or at least pique your interest that you're wanting to lean further into?
So you are correct. Disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor, anything like that. That is correct. Big deal. I'm glad you remember about the disclaimer. So it's mostly, I guess, the networking piece and talking to people and getting some bounce ideas from each other about what they do. So like I said, stocks, and the big thing is crypto. It just kind of share. We could say, instead of advice, we could just share. Well, what are you doing? Well, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Let's see what's working out there too. So in addition to real estate and stocks, investment, crypto, and also a little plug, I'm actually in the process of writing a book. I've actually been working on this book for a couple of years, so I got a
Wow.
book that I'm working on now.
Can you give us a tease on what the book's about or a category that the book's falling under?
Yeah, it's really about, like, what the purpose, in a way, kind of, like what's your purpose in your life and the legacy that you want to leave behind, and kind of like what you want to be known of, when people remember you, basically, what would you have liked them to remember you?
Hmm. Well, you definitely should remember to favorite Black Engineer. While we're having this conversation, everyone, he is our second guest this evening. We still got a whole lot more to talk about, so do not go anywhere, including our conversation with ABCDEFG. I've been known to slip up every now and again and talk about a little crypto, so I can't blame you for wanting to talk about the crypto a little bit.
Why not? Why not? You meet a lot of interesting people on this app.
You do. I don't want to get too down the rabbit hole of crypto, but I am curious, how long have you been interested in it, or how long have you been paying attention to it at least?
I've been interested in about a year and a half, actually.
There you go.
Well, actually, I've been into it in about a couple of years, but usually I got real heavy about a year and a half, and disclaimer and stuff. It's just what I do, a few things here, but always stick the original things with Bitcoin. There's nothing wrong with the original. So, but there's so many different things out there. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with, but just always start with go back to the basics.
Yeah.
But
I'm
there's
jumping at.
plenty of things to make opportunity, and plenty of things to make extra income. Is multiple streams. Is the idea is that multiple streams, whether your job, whether something else, there's some hustles out there.
Yeah, and in your experience, passive income and multiple streams of income have worked out well for you, and that's a very loaded topic that we will drift somewhat away from in this conversation. But I'm sure many people listening would have some interest in what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So something that does catch my interest is when people think about wealth or achievement,
Right.
some of their mindset drifts to flashy things. What's your mindset as someone who is so financially mindful? What is your mindset on things like luxury watches, expensive cars,
Good question.
fine? What's your opinion on that type of thing?
So I actually, when one of my mentors that I first met, though, he was not the average person who looked like what I would think about a millionaire. And so when I met him, he just looked regular, and I'm like, who's this guy? And then I went near his, I was like, wow, you don't look like what I picture of a millionaire. And then he pushed me in this book called The Millionaire Next Door. So a lot of people like to be flashy and stuff. That's not says anything. You'd be surprised with the ones who they don't really try to like flash it. They don't need to. And for people who need to do, don't get me wrong, I like the nice toys. But I think the more wisdom thing is just to be able, they know how to carry themselves, because the way their accomplishment speaks for themselves. And I think that there's a fine line between, if you want to use it because you need to show it off, like, yeah, or if you want to use it as for, if it's for whatever reason. So it has to be going to what's the motive behind it. I mean, I'm into the toys as well as the flashiness, but why am I doing it though? Is it because that's how I validate myself? And so I think, to me, when I was introduced to that book, is that the real ones who are successful financially, they don't even need to do all that, because they know they can validate their own selves. They're proud of what they've accomplished.
I've read that book too. It's a fantastic book.
Okay,
I
I think Chris is a little entrepreneurship up in here. He's trying to hide it. I think he's got a little bit of entrepreneurship in him.
there's a quote. It either came from that one or it was from one of Dave Ramsey's books. But the quote goes, "Don't try and keep up with the Joneses; they're
Yes.
broke too."
Yeah, yes,
And
that's true.
there's a lot to unpack in that quote for anyone who ever cares to read one of those books. But I really like that quote. Don't keep up with the Joneses; they're broke too. Um,
That's a good quote. I like that one.
Yeah. So on that note, let's talk about your own streams. You stay really busy. Obviously, financial and wellness is something that comes up. What other things do you like to do in your lives? Do you have any things coming up that you would like to plug, promote?
Sure. Well, first off, you guys have seen the emoji. You got to plug in, okay, my emoji here from Haiti. Yeah. So if I had my show, and I'm gonna try to get it back on Wednesdays, called "Who Stole My Money," and basically it's a talk about like life experiences, right? When you people who are living paycheck to paycheck and they see their money's already spent and gone, so who stole my money? And then you figure out the biggest thieves of our money, Chris, is ourselves. And I think that basically just look in the mirror. It's just basically having that discussion about how are you and when it comes to handle money. It's just talk about stories. And when you really look at the mirror and you're like, man, I need to do better. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we want this app. People want to be successful in life or in this app and stuff. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of it turns around about, how you are with your finances, tell you about who you are. So those are the things that my show that on Wednesday, try to catch it at 8 o'clock Eastern, we're starting back up. It's called Who Stole My Money?
I that's a really funny name for the concept. I love that name because most people don't realize that. In fact, they eat their paycheck most of the times is through dining out, through convenience, through things like that. I'm a really big budgeter myself. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine how many people don't go through their monthly statement and look where their cash goes. And if you ever take the time to do that exercise, make that a habit, you really start to change the way you look and spend your money.
You get robbed, Chris. Like by the time you look at it, like this thing is gone. It's like who stole? Where did it go? Like that's how people want the kids and everything, and if they have a significant other, IRS taxman takes your money too.
You mentioned that Haiti, the hat here. Are you from Haiti?
I am originally from Haiti, yes, but I came here when I was young, about 5 years old. Grew up out of Florida. I didn't even speak the language. So I still speak Creole, French, and English and stuff. But like I said, it's one of the things that I've been blessed about is being able to come from the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. If anybody know how Haiti is, devastation, poverty, earthquakes, and the opportunity that's giving me to allow to have an education, to be an entrepreneur, to be an executive with my company, and to have a beautiful family. I mean, see what you want about this country, but I feel it's a blessing because trust me, if you been to other countries where it's worse, believe me, you'd feel grateful too.
Wow. That perspective, I think, has helped you a lot in your career and helped equip you with the things that you speak so passionately about because you come from experience. Before we wrap up our conversation, again, everyone, make sure you're hitting the favorite button on our favorite engineer right here, Mr. Black Engineer, repping his Haitian flag and or Haiti flag, as well as the conversation that we've had so far. Again, though, any other things you want to plug, talk about before we go?
Just a few quick things. My friend May for Top Batch, hats off to her, one of my top 6 gifters. 61,000 faves. If you haven't, please catch her. May for Top Batch. I hope you get it, sweetheart. And then I do have for people who like to know, if you've seen a little video, we have an auction on February 11th. So I like to dress up. So I'll be able to be dressed up. Because I like when I do these auctions, I like to make people laugh. So if you want to come see me laugh, the many faces of Black Engineer, you can come check it out.
What is that?
Well, actually, this was from one of my costumes. This one was from the hat from, if you remember, I don't know if you've ever seen Coming to America. This is President Akeem. When you think of garbage, think of Akeem.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Opens with Jerry Springer in it or something like that. Yeah. Eddie Murphy, the old Eddie Murphy film. Yeah. All right. Well, very cool. Thank you so much for being on the show. Again, if you're not favorite, make sure you hit the favorite button. Really enjoyed our conversation and get to know you a little bit more.
Thank you.
Cheers. An entrepreneur, self-made gentleman right there. What a nice guy. Make sure you hit the favorite button on him. He's a great person. My name's Chris. That was Black Engineer. We've already talked with Arab Princess, Miss AP. Just got done talking with Black Engineer. And our third guest this evening, ABCDEFG, is going to be coming to the box. Excited for this one because she has been a long-time consistent viewer. In fact, she's I don't know how many episodes she's seen, but I've tried to get her on the show before. She said no. She's on the show now. We're gonna check it out, feel out the conversation, see how it goes. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our third and final guest this evening, Miss ABCDEFG. But now, before we thank our top 3 gifters so far this evening, Babyface Mosley, Queen V, and Honey. Thank you to you 3. Our third and final guest this evening, Miss ABCDEFG.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm super well. Yourself?
I'm super nervous, given that I am genuinely a viewer here, not a guest.
You are a regular viewer. You are many times one of the top gifters of the show, and you've never been on. And like, you can't be like one of the top gifters every week and not have been on it. And you're like, nah, I'm good.
I mean, I like watching. It's weird because being a streamer, you would assume that I like, talking or being on the stream, when in reality, I don't do well in guest boxes.
Really? What's it about the guest box?
I don't know. It's like it's not my stream. I don't have control over it,
You have full control over this conversation.
But not the stream. I can't block who I want to block, Chris. I can't.
It's just tap the screen. It's not even there. It's not even there. It's just us awkwardly having a weirdly proportioned FaceTime. That's all it is.
It would be awkward if I told you some other things that Gold told me to say, but here we are.
I don't know who Gold is even, so it probably would.
Like your number 3 gifter or something all time.
I don't know.
Pretty sure.
I don't know. Maybe you have difficulty jumping on because you're so busy all the time reading. That could be why.
I am quite busy. Reading, I try, but I'm very busy though. Yeah.
A bit of a reader. How often would you say you read?
Every day.
You read every day. See, most people when they say, I'm trying to get back into reading, they like hope that they pick up a book once a quarter, if that. But you read every day.
Every day I try to be honest, because I'm in not the people telling me I read their comments and I should try better. I'm so distracted with books, Chris. I don't have time to read the comments. That's the case here. But I'm in university, so I do read a lot.
What type of books are you interested in? Are they professional development? Are they nonfiction, fiction?
I hate professional development books. I hate self-help books. I hate even calling a book a self-help book. I vehemently do not like any of those things that you just mentioned. But I'm more of a novel type of person, or textbooks, novels or textbooks, or even like things with a collective of essays. Yeah,
What do you have against professional development books?
Sorry?
What do you have against professional development books?
They're not in the clouds enough for me.
What does that mean?
I need things beyond the here and now.
Okay. So does Harry Potter fall on that list? Because what you named was all nonfiction.
Did someone tell you something about me and Harry Potter or no?
No, I'm just right now I'm shooting blanks and I'm trying to have something stick.
I think John B told you. It's got to be John B.
I love John, but I haven't talked to him recently.
I have never read or watched Harry Potter. I grew up with a very strict Catholic family and I was not allowed to watch or read Harry Potter.
So were you the household that if Pokemon came, you'd have to get exercised and like that kind of thing? Like if Pokemon was on the TV?
No, Pokemon was perfectly fine. But when it comes to witchcraft, it was a no-go.
Oh, specifically the casting spells, wizards, witches, all that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
anything involving sorcery.
Okay, and this was taken pretty seriously. What do you think would have happened if you were caught with Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets stuffed under your pillow? What would have happened?
I mean, to be fair, I don't think anything would happen, but it was instilled in me that I respected my parents and my faith too. Like I was honestly an altar server growing up. I was very serious in the church. I'm not actually Christian anymore, but growing up, I was very serious in the church. I was.
Okay. Wow. I would not have guessed that. And to this day, are you just trying to see how long you can go without seeing Harry Potter?
You know, I don't even let my kids watch it.
Oh, wow.
I
You're
don't.
like,
I think it's just like it's already there. It's already happened. It's part of my life. I'm just not gonna allow that to change.
you're
The
like,
one
if
thing
I
I'm
couldn't
focused on
watch
is
it,
how you-
you can't watch it. None of us get to have a good time.
Essentially.
Wow. That's brutal.
Mm.
Okay, so you're reading textbooks. You know, you remind me a little bit of in Hey Arnold. His cousin came to visit, and his cousin had a habit of reading the food packages. Is that kind of like in your domain of interest, reading the food packages?
I mean, yeah.
All right, good.
Kind
So,
of. If I'm
very-
looking,
very
if I'm
non-
looking to see the ingredients, yeah.
are you very health conscious of the foods and things you eat? Is that
No.
no?
No, to be honest, I just don't eat like anything with pork in it, but I eat like a lot of garbage. So it's, yeah, I'm not you, Chris. I'm sorry. I don't meal prep.
I did you not hear about my rice with sugar and almond milk earlier?
I missed that part, but I'm pretty sure I've seen you meal prep on Instagram. So
I have. That was the one time I meal
I
prepped.
caught that one time.
One time, yeah. Let's shift gears here for a moment,
Okay.
sort of. The reading, I imagine it teaches you many words. You learn a lot of things, the biggest words. Has that turned you into a writer of any sort yourself, or are you purely just a reader?
Well, I mean, given my degree, obviously I write a lot. I have to write a significant amount. I'm in my last 4 classes of my degree, Chris. I was supposed to graduate last year, but as a result of COVID, I am still awaiting to graduate. But yeah, I'm an art student. I'm in social sciences, so I do write quite a bit.
You write quite a bit. What
Yeah.
are some of the things that you write about, or in the vein? Is it, again, more manuscript style? Do you write fiction? Do you write poetry? What's your style?
Interestingly, I do. Okay, so I write essays, and I write things that are, like articles for school or whatever. And I said articles instead of articles, but yeah, okay.
This is a pass. You're good.
We're gonna pretend I was talking about the instead of actual articles. But no, I do. I write articles. I write like essays, whatever. And I write poetry. I write. I started writing a children's book too. That's even funnier. I started writing a children's book. I'm like 2 chapters in now. Yeah, I write quite a bit of things.
Is it about the little girl who couldn't read the book about the boy wizard and how everyone else's life sucked because they did read it, and how great your life is?
The first portion, though you were joking, it's actually about a little girl. So that's funny. Yeah. Not the wizard. No, unfortunately, no.
Do you foresee this becoming published? Is this just a personal project?
No, I would like to publish the novel that I write. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a children's novel, so I'm thinking around the ages of 9 through 12, something like junior, before high school. I would like to have it published when I graduate. At least.
There's usually a moral to the story or something that's trying to be conveyed in that demographic, at least in their literature. What's the message that you're trying to get across in your children's book?
So I have not shared it publicly yet, and I don't intend to do that right now. I know I keep telling you things like that, Chris, but like I can't. It's a secret. But no, I'd say it's the most. It's less about a moral and it's more like an adventure. So do you remember like the Spiderwick Chronicles or a series of unfortunate events, something like that? It's like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
something
perfect.
adventurous. It's something adventurous. So if anything, it is adventurous.
You'll be like the not canceled J.K. Rowling.
She's not canceled.
That's what I heard on the internet. So we're gonna leave it.
You say, Chris. The internet, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, Chris.
What do you mean she's not? You've never even read her.
Yeah, but I know why they say I know why they're saying she's canceled. Let's continue.
But we're not gonna get into all that. The case
We don't wanna
here
digress.
is that you haven't read any of it. Besides that, the MLA system, nope. What's the system in the library where everything is alphabetized? What's that called? The Dewey Decimal System.
Alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order. I was looking for something much more complicated.
I thought you were talking about citations. I'm like, CMS? Like, which one are you looking for? Like, Chicago
No.
Menu?
The whole reason I'm making this very clunky segue is because you have a talent, a very special talent that is a useful talent. You alphabetize everything.
Okay, so guys, Chris made me come up with a talent to tell you guys. It could be a lie. No, I'm joking. It's true. Okay, it happens to be true. It does come in handy only in the randoms. So when you're in the randoms and you need something to impress someone or have some sort of entertainment, know things alphabetically. People get shocked. They're like, oh, you know a lot of things.
So what's
In
an
fact, you know
example?
5 things.
What's an example of something that you know alphabetically that would be surprising?
Okay, so obviously I know the alphabet, and I know the alphabet backwards, and I know,
Can you do the alphabet backwards?
yes,
Go.
Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, O, K, J, I, G, H, F, E, D, C, B, A. Easy. You know who else can do that? Top Badge Brody. And this is why I didn't tell you that I could do that, because Brody can do it too. And we figured this out the other day.
He's also a very talented person in general.
Yes,
So
apparently.
1 out of everybody else are still pretty good numbers. Okay, so that was probably an easy one. You talked like it was easy. Give us the next layer. What's the next layer to this skill?
So my goal, I do have a goal. There is a purpose to my memorization. I would like to memorize every single country in alphabetical order. Currently, I do know every state in America in alphabetical order, and I do know every country in Africa in alphabetical order.
Did you just specifically sit down one day and go, all right, we're learning this?
So university is very boring at times. So it is very fun when you're not in class, but sometimes you do have professors that just make you want to sleep. But then you have students in the class with you who are very entertaining. And so together you create a group chat where you all memorize countries and states in alphabetical order.
No.
And then eventually you bring the professor in because he's bored too. So that is kind of the situation. That's what happens.
I spent a victory lap and a half in college. I did 5.5 years, and not once did I do that. But it's so
What
I'm
did you
so
take in
happy.
college?
In college, yeah, in
No,
college.
what did you take?
I did communications.
That's why. I'm an art student.
You're an art student.
We
What
do
is your
dumb
medium?
things.
What
me?
is your artistic medium?
No. I'm arts and sciences. I'm in social sciences.
Oh, arts and sciences.
Under the arts
I-
faculty. Yeah.
Got it. I didn't go to college apparently.
I'm in political science.
What do you want to do? Do you want to work in a library? Do you want to open one? Is that like the dream?
Who talks to you? I swear, you know what's really funny? It's because I don't remember telling these things to people, but no, first of all, librarian would be a library technician. That's a whole different degree, number one. But
You have to have a degree to be a librarian?
there is a 2-year program at minimum to be a library technician in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, but generally you do a 3 or 4-year degree to be a librarian.
Is the exam having to be quiet?
No.
Okay. All right, keep going. We're losing momentum. I suck
Okay,
at
no,
this.
no. In reality, I would love eventually to open a bookstore, but that's not my goal. I after my degree, I do want to go on to do a master's degree and then a PhD, and I would love to stay in academia. And if not, if I can't pursue that, given the current situation right now, it's hard to finish, school in general right now. I can't imagine doing another 10 years, right? I'm already on my 5th year because of COVID,
Wow.
right? And no, I'd do something in government, probably some sort of right-hand man to some electoral process, but yeah.
So are you interested in public education?
In which regard? Do you mean by public?
A public education system. So you said in academia. I don't know, potentially being like a public.
Yeah. So it's something like a research assistant or a professor or something in that same field.
Okay. I'm so relieved to hear that. I come from a family of teachers,
Really?
5 that all served in public schools, and they all have one thing in common that they would probably say to someone looking to get into public schooling, and that's don't. So it's good. No, shout out to our teachers. It's brutal. It's brutal in the public education system. And bless all the teachers out there, seriously. So we've had a good conversation so far. There's a lot of things that we can't talk about, but is there anything else that's important to you that you'd like to share, go over, talk about?
I did tell you one thing that was very funny. So my sister is on a Lurk account right now, my younger sister. She's watching this and she's probably laughing very hard and saying this is useless, but because she doesn't understand the app yet, okay?
Okay.
But I brought her onto the app and she came to my stream. She did not tell me what her account was, okay? She came into my stream, evidently like a real Lurk account. Like I had no idea it was my own sister, okay? She started talking bad to me. And I said, you know what? I was in a battle with King Ali. We were in a versus. And I was like, you can swipe left. And I kicked her out. And then I get a text message, bring me back in. You kicked me out. I kicked out my own sister from my live.
Is your sister older or younger?
I have an older sister, but this was my younger sister.
Younger, okay. Do they get it? Do they get the stream thing? Are they like, this is just weird?
I tried to explain it to my older brother. My eldest brother has no idea. He really did not understand what was going on. I even showed him videos. He did not get it. I showed my parents. My parents, I think, with my younger sister, my parents are like, they're almost 70, and they understand the app perfectly now. Perfectly.
Yeah, it's such a world to take in. I mean, all of us had to understand it and come to learn it. But I think once we become so ingrained in it, it starts to leave our mind that this is a very foreign concept to so many people.
Yeah. If you're not already on the app, it's a whole other world that people are not aware of. I think that this is only indicative of the app growing in the future, right? Because if nobody really knows about it, like people that you talk to on a daily basis, you go to the grocery store, there's not one person that's gonna know about Meet Me in Canada. I swear, unless I bump into like Tilla or someone else from Alberta, Country Cutie, nobody here is gonna know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And so as a result, like you can just see the progress of this app, where it has started and where it is now. Like I know about it now, you know.
Yeah. And you got the top badge, you did the whole thing. Like you made it.
Apparently.
Huh?
Apparently I did. I don't know how.
For 2 seconds, I thought that you weren't a top badge, and then I got my own facts wrong, and that would have been really embarrassing.
Wow.
I know, but I remember.
I mean, you won't tell me whether I'm one of the top in Canada or not, Chris. So we're still trying to. We're all doing math out here.
That's how I was going to wrap up the conversation, to say ABCDEFG had a challenge, and there's no other Canadian that's outdone her. Is that true? Can someone find?
There's a female. There's a male above. There's one male top badge above me and one non-top badge male.
Okay.
But for females, I think I'm the highest.
Are you coming for them? Is that it? Those two other people?
Yeah, I definitely am.
You're coming for them. Number one Canadian.
I definitely am, Chris.
Okay. Something else that you mentioned to me when we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for this conversation, you mentioned that you've never been out of the country of Canada.
No, I've never left Canada.
Do you want to?
I mean, like at one point I did, and then I had children, and then I went to university, and then a pandemic happened, and so from the age of 21 until 30, I have not had the opportunity to leave.
I like how you named this.
Broke, Chris, so there was nowhere I could go.
I like how you named what sounded like a series of unfortunate events, but the thing that you led with was, I had children. And that was the beginning of your rant, and I'm like, oh, I got it. But I'm sure you love them and that they're great.
They're excellent, and I hope they're sleeping at this moment. I really told them to be quiet so I can come onto the stream. I'm in Mountain Time, so I'm 2 hours behind you, Chris. So this is the earliest. Like usually when I'm watching your stream, when I'm watching the show, I'm like with my kids, like sometimes they see it, sometimes they'll send a rose, like they'll click it for me. I'll be like, click here, you know?
It's truly family content. We keep it friendly.
Yeah, because it's family content.
Yeah,
so
there's no swearing.
I can trust, Chris.
That's the only reason you come here. I like it. And probably they're not asleep. They're watching bootleg copies of Harry Potter right now. That's what they're doing. They LimeWire. Is that a thing still? They're watching bootleg Harry Potter.
They have Switches, but yeah.
Whatever.
I play Pokemon, Chris. They're at that age, you know.
Right. Well, I'm that age too, always. So before we go, again, everyone, make sure that you hit the favorite on this ABCDEFG. Are there any last things that you'd like to plug before we wrap up our conversation today?
Cuddles for top badge. That's about it. And I need a new chair. But like other than that, we're good.
Okay.
They make fun of my chair.
Got
Yeah.
it. All right.
Yeah.
Good. This is good.
Chris, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Thanks for finally being on the show.
it. Bet.
I didn't even get to do the outro. We'll pretend that she's still here. All right, well, this has been our third and final guest this evening. She goes by ABCDEFG. Make sure you hit the favorite button on her. Thanks, Chris. I had a great time. You did a great job. See, aren't you happy that you did this? Yeah, I think it would have been really, I just overthought it. And, I actually had some interesting things to say. I know you totally had interesting things to say because we prepped a little bit for it. I know, it's so cool. All right, get out of the box now. There you go. So I'm happy for all of you. I hope you favored ABCDEFG. She was our third and final guest this evening. A big special shout out to our other two guests that we had this evening. We had Air Princess, AP. We also had Black Engineer, who was on the show. He did a great job. I am sorry to say, everyone, that this will be the last time I do this show in my 20s. Because next Wednesday, it's falling on a Wednesday.